Hey, this is Tracy Austin with Mental Fitness Matters. This show is designed to provide people with tips, strategies, and solutions to improve your mental fitness. This is Mental Fitness Matters. Hey, I hope everybody out there is having a great week. We are back with part 2. If you guys missed last week's show, make sure you go back, go to tracyaustin.com, go to Mental Fitness Matters. Make sure you're downloaded and subscribe to the podcast on all platforms. But you have to tune in to part 1 to this show. We are with the amazing Dr. Shawn Talbott. He's a psycho-nutritionist who's creating life-changing solutions for us to fuel our entire being, every part of who he is. He's a best-selling author. Mental Fitness is his newest book out. He is known as the world's fittest CEO, and he's here sharing science and data about gut-brain health, peak performance, and mental fitness, okay? We're going to pick it up where we left off last week. We were just dabbling into the thoughts behind supplementation and what that looks and feels like and what uses it may have. And when we dropped off in our last talk, Dr. Shawn, we were just talking about how that could be a starting place for some people. A lot of times there's so many things that are going on, but this can be a starting place to get things moving. Go ahead and expound upon that a little bit more. Our show cut out before you finished your last story there.
Yeah. So
welcome back.
Good to be back, Tracy. Thank you. I was just trying to explain a little bit about a clinical trial we did a couple years ago. We published the results so everybody can go and read up on it. But we got a group of people that were probably typical of people who might be listening right now. Wanted to lose a few pounds, wanted to lower their stress, wanted to improve their sleep quality. They're people who were just kind of like what we refer to as moderately stressed. And we said to them, we're going to measure a lot of things over this 6 weeks. We want you to take a group of supplements, some probiotics, some vitamins, minerals, some herbals. And the idea was that these would help to modulate your gut-brain axis, right? Some of them work in the gut, some of them work in the brain, some of them work in the immune system, etc. And we said to them specifically, please don't change your diet. Please don't get on an exercise regimen. Please don't change anything. Just go through your normal life for the next 6 weeks. And we're going to measure your microbiome. We're going to take some blood samples and measure your inflammation and your cholesterol and your blood sugar. We're going to take some saliva samples and measure your stress hormones, right? So we had a really good time with these people, and we measured them over time. And what we showed was, hey, they took these supplements. They had improvements in their blood markers. They had improvements in their microbiome. Their inflammation went down. Their stress hormones went down. Their mood went up. We measured psychological mood state. But what we didn't tell them is that the secret of this is that we weren't just measuring their biochemistry, right? We wanted to look at how they change their behavior. We told them at the beginning, please don't change your behavior. But what we wanted to see is if we could help them feel better, which we found, would they subconsciously eat a better diet? Would they, without even trying, would they get themselves on a better physical activity program? Would they, without even trying, would they get better sleep quality? And that's exactly what we found. So we were able to prove out that if we can use the right supplements to help somebody feel better, and the reason they felt better was because their biochemistry changed, does that result in them making better choices with the rest of their lifestyle? And that's exactly what we found. So it led us to this conclusion that if you have a properly formulated supplement, it can really facilitate somebody adhering to an exercise regimen, or adhering to a better diet, or adhering to a better sleep quality regimen. So it just facilitates those lifestyle changes that we want people to make in the first place.
That's big. And I think let's go ahead and kind of bring in what we're talking about as it relates to some supplementation. We're talking about Amare, and you're the chief science officer of Amare. And I want you to kind of tell a little bit more about Amare Wellness and the mental wellness company, what this means, because not all supplementation is the same. And when we think about performance and what we're putting into our mind and our body, it does matter. And so could you speak to a little bit about what you do on a daily basis?
Sure. Yeah. So at Amare, Amare Global is the mental wellness company. That's our sort of trademark tagline, the mental wellness company. So everything that we do here is all about mental well-being. It's all about your mood or your energy levels or your focus or your sleep quality or just your overall well-being, how you feel. But we do it from the perspective of the gut-brain axis. So a lot of what we do is based on the microbiome, right? The bacteria in your gut. Can we give the right nutrients to those bacteria so that they produce the right level of neurotransmitters so that we feel the way we want to feel? Can we, don't get me wrong, the brain and the head is still important. It's not like we're neglecting the brain and the head and saying it's not an important tissue anymore. Some of what we do focuses on that brain. Some of what we do focuses on the second brain, the gut. Some of what we do focuses on the third brain, the heart. But the idea is that if our ultimate goal is to improve mental wellness in people, and we know that that mental wellness originates or emanates from the second brain and the third brain, well, why don't we focus our nutrition on those organs so that we can optimize the entire gut-brain axis and help people feel probably as better than they've ever felt in their entire lives. And that's a fun thing to see. Somebody come in and say, either I felt terrible and now I feel good again, right, after taking the products, or even better, someone who says, I thought I felt pretty good, and now I feel amazing that I've gone to this other level. I've leveled up to a plane that I didn't even think was available to me. Yeah. That's a customer that you're going to have for the rest of their life, because they never want to go back to feeling the way they did before.
It's awesome. You're right. I mean, it's just different levels that you don't even know. And I am, like I said in part one, I'm literally a fan of the whole product line. The protein, I'm on the Happy Mind Pack, the Happy Juice. It's my jam. And that new Grape Edge right now, it's just awesome. It's everything. But in my world, working alongside, whether it's executives, people struggling with mental health concerns, or just athletes in general, peak performers, when you think about being able to specially let's talk about sports performance and peak performance, because they are, what we said in part one, already doing a lot of the physical and mental training to help them feel their best. So how, by using and talking about what we're talking about today, letting them know that there's another level here? Because now we've had a chance to implement in some of my practices where we're not only doing the neurofeedback, now we're adding in and they're testing out these Amare products and they're loving it and they're going to another level. So as you speak about levels that we can go in sports performance, especially in our kids and our youth, what do we say to parents as we're talking about this? Why is this an important piece to add to your regimen? Why should you add this in?
Yeah, so purely from an athletic performance perspective, I think the thing that will be most noticeable to athletes is their ability to recover faster if they have a good gut-brain axis regimen. And partly it's related to inflammation, partly it's related to immune system function, but it's not so much that. A lot of times athletes have a mistaken notion of where supplements fit in. They think that they're going to take the supplement, the powder or the pill or the potion, and it's going to help them run faster or jump higher or lift more or something like that. But it isn't really that. It's an accumulation of these incremental gains where if you have an optimized gut-brain axis, you might be able to do one more rep in the gym, or you might be able to continue at a particular pace where your competition is starting to fade away. It's going to be these little incremental gains that when you add up over time, that's going to be the improvement in performance. And one of those incremental gains is improved recovery. It's that your stress is a little bit lower. It's that your inflammation is a little bit lower. It's that your sleep is a little bit deeper. Is that you're able to bounce back from a stressful session, and you're going to be able to come into the next session a little bit fresher and therefore go a little bit harder than the competition. And those accumulated gains end up, you have a 0.5% here and 1/4% there and a fraction of a percent there, and pretty soon you're 1 or 2% better than the people you were competing with or against a month ago, and that can make all the difference.
Game changing. Game changing. I think about that from an athlete's perspective of being in the zone, trying to find that zone. And a lot of what we do, especially on the neurofeedback side, is trying to train your alpha to come up so that alpha production is big. And so including these products into your practice, when you talk about recovery time and finding that zone a lot faster than your opponent, that's life-changing.
Yes, exactly. It's life-changing for your competition, but think about the whole rest of your life, right? Yeah. So this is one thing that I used to educate all my athletes about, is that a lot of athletes identify as athletes. I identify as a triathlete, but that is one fraction of the whole life that I'm leading. I'm also a dad. I'm also a husband. I'm also a scientist. There's all these other roles that we play, and this idea of peak performance really washes over all of those. You want to be the best athlete, but you also want to be the best spouse, and you want to be the best friend, and you want to be the best this and this and this and all those different pieces. And these principles of having a strong, resilient, optimized gut-brain axis, that applies to all of those different situations.
I love it. Dr. Shawn, what would you say as people are listening to this, taking in this information? Maybe they've heard it before, maybe not. They're going to probably come back. Hopefully, guys, you come back and listen over and over and over again. What would be a good starting question just for the average person, right? Like we said in the beginning, part one, sometimes you don't even know what you don't know. You don't know there's more that is better. What's a good starting question for us to ask ourselves? Because on this show, we talk a lot about self-awareness. And being aware is just, it's big. We have to become more aware. So what would be a good starting question or a starting place for the average person?
Yeah, the best place for me, whether you consider yourself to be an athlete or not, is to be what I refer to as an open-minded skeptic, right? To be the person who here's what we're talking about, Tracy, and doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm good." Right. I'm fine. Because that's the default response for most people. Right. If you went up to anybody in the street and said, "How are you doing today?" 99% say, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm good." Right. Which really is code for I'm stressed out. I'm kind of fatigued. I'm a little bit irritable. I can't relax. I'm too busy. All the things that we would honestly describe as our modern lives. And so I want people to be that open-minded skeptic, meaning they can really be in tune with themselves and say, well, how am I? I'm actually a little bit stressed out, or I feel like I'm busy all the time, or I feel like I can't relax, or, I'm going all day long and I'm exhausted at the end of the day, and yet I still can't get a good night's sleep, right? Be honest with yourself, right? That's the sort of open-minded piece of it, is saying, well, maybe some of this new science around the gut-brain axis and around the microbiome and around nutritional psychology, maybe that could improve my stress levels or my energy levels or my focus or my resilience or whatever. And then be a little skeptical about it. So, and basically say, well, there seems to be some science there, but let me be the judge of that. Yeah. Let me try this thing. Let me try that probiotic they're talking about, or let me try that protein supplement, or let me try the vitamin or the herbal product, and I'll be the judge of how that makes me feel. Do I feel more energetic? Do I feel more relaxed? Do I feel more resilient? And that's where the rubber meets the road, right? As the mental wellness company, we feel really strongly that it's interesting that the science is there, but if somebody can't see that, the benefit of that science in their everyday life, and have it be remarkable, meaning you're going to remark on it. You're going to say to somebody else, you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I feel so much better now compared to how I felt back there," then like we're dead in the water, right? The science has to be applicable, and it has to be meaningful to somebody that they want to continue doing it every single day. And, they get better and better and better and better.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And giving yourself time to do that. When I think about this and I think about training and I think about performance, people want these things overnight, but these things didn't happen overnight. And so recognizing that as we are starting and creating and providing new things for our mind and body to experience, it takes time. Right? It takes time. And so at Mental Ed, especially that company for me, we focus a lot with performance and athletes and youth sports, really creating a 90-day protocol, 90 days to peak mental fitness, giving your brain and your gut an opportunity to change, to feel, to experience what it feels like to feel better. I think that's life-changing, and having your protocol at the bottom of that is big.
Yeah. And I think giving yourself time to experience all of that really makes a lot of sense, right? So sometimes in my seminars, if I have a whiteboard available to me, I'll draw this squiggly line that kind of starts at the lower left-hand side, and it goes up and down and up and down and up and down, but its overall trajectory is going up and to the right. And the point I'm trying to make to people is that you're going to have these times where you feel amazing and then not so much, and then amazing and then not so much, and then amazing, not so much. But overall, if you give it the 90 days, your overall trajectory is getting better and better and better and better and better. And when we do that, when we start to become better in tune with our bodies and say, "Oh, I've had more good days this week than I did last week. And then I had more good weeks this month than I had last month. And then pretty soon you're stringing together a whole line of good days and good days and good days and good days. And you're going to have a bad day here and there, but you're going to be able to bounce back from it, like what we talked about last time. That ability to take the hit and come back and be able to perform, maybe even at a higher level. That's what I think a lot of people are missing in their lives and have been searching for. And this could be one of the avenues to bring that back.
Yeah, and it's been cool to kind of watch some of our clients on this protocol, taking the Happy Mind Pack and really some of your products there. We can kind of talk through some of the products as well, but really seeing parents and just kids for themselves. One of our athletes calls it her brain drink. Her brain drink, because it just makes her brain feel more alert, more alive, more ready to compete. She's a lacrosse player. So I think that's pretty powerful when kids can start to verbalize something's changing, because for kids, everything's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. But to actually have the word brain drink, so it's just really fascinating to kind of see as people are really starting to experience what we're offering here. So it's really cool.
Well, I mean, I can talk from personal experience on that, right? So my son is 20.
Yeah.
He just finished his sophomore year in college, and it went all the way. His trajectory was that he's a very low communication kind of a kid, right? Like a lot of teenagers are, right? They're
One or two words.
How was your day? Fine.
Yeah.
That's all you get out of them sometimes, right? But so when we started him on the products, years ago at this point, it was, all right, you're going to take these and we're going to mix them up for you and we're going to watch you take them, right? Because we know this is going to do something and we can see it. Your teachers can see it. Like there was that benefit there. And so it went from us sort of forcing it on him to us just putting the supplements out. So they were always there, always available, and would be like, hey, time to take your supplement. He'd take it. And then it moved to, it was in the cabinet and he would go and get it out of the cabinet. And now he's away at school and he'll text me and say to me, hey Dad, I'm out of the kid's mood, or I'm out of the kid's fundamentals, or I'm out of the multivitamin. So he sees enough of a benefit in himself where he's going to go out of his way to send me a text message so I can send him some more, right? So that's not him coming up to me and saying like, gee, Dad, those products are really awakening my brain and allowing me to function better in the classroom. Right? He's never going to say that. But the fact that he's just aware of it enough where he's like, yeah, you have any more of that stuff?
Yes.
Like that to me and his mom are just like, woo!
Yes, it's a win. And you're making the stuff that kids enjoy taking. Like it's like a little pixie stick. It tastes great. So the products even taste good. That's really cool. But I think that's a big deal. Being able to know that there's something changing. You might not know the words for it or what it is, but you can tell that there's something different going on. That's what we're talking about here. And so really giving yourself a chance and an opportunity to feel something different if you don't even know what that could feel like. Because the truth is you can't really put words to it until you experience it yourself.
Right, exactly. And that's like I said before, like once somebody experiences that and goes to that next level, it really like it gives them more bandwidth, right? You see that person now say, oh my gosh, I just got to this new level. I wonder if there's another level. Right? It really opens up their whole universe to say like, what might be possible? It's really, really cool to see.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited, guys. As we kind of finish up the show, you're going to see some links to Dr. Shawn's information, but you're going to also see some links to Mental Edge Fitness, the 90 days to peak mental fitness, giving yourself, your brain, your body, anybody else that's around you an opportunity to experience you and for you to experience yourself, just what you can feel like, how you can take yourself to that next level, giving yourself 90 days, just 90 days. And the cool thing about all of the products that you offer, it's 100% money back guarantee.
Right. Yeah,
risk-free.
Exactly. And that's been from day one,
yeah.
Right? Because as the mental wellness company, if somebody can't legitimately say to themselves, I feel better in whatever way after taking these products, we want to give them their money back because we have not helped them solve their problem.
Dr. Shawn, I'm interested in just you in general in terms of being called at one time the world's fittest CEO. How would you describe mental fitness and how do you stay mentally fit? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? For me, mental fitness is just the ability to show up however you want to in whatever situation, right? Where, if it's a stressful situation, how do you navigate that stress? If it's if it's a day where you're going to be really busy and, kind of frantic, how do you handle that? If it's a day where you want to relax and you want to dial it down, are you able to do that? Are you able to shift those gears? That to me is mental fitness. And, like I said before, we're all going to have good days and bad days. How you're able to kind of navigate that and lily pad from one to the next, that I think is mental fitness. It's the ability to kind of do what you need when you need it at the level that you need. And so and that might sound a little pie in the sky to a lot of people who have not experienced that, who have the typical experience of, being sluggish and fatigued in the day and then being irritable and tense and anxious at night. That's where a lot of people find themselves and don't think that there's an opportunity to be happy and energetic and engaged all day long and then relaxed and have a really good quality sleep and wake up and do it all again the next day. That's the typical, that's the normal human situation. That's where we're supposed to be. Right. And I think it's important for people to know that it's available to all of them. It's available to everybody.
It's available to everybody. We can all experience that. Dr. Shawn, I have been enjoying and I have enjoyed your book, Mental Fitness, Maximizing Mood, Motivation, and Mental Wellness by Optimizing the Brain-Body Biome. This is such a good body of work right here, my friend.
Thank you. Well, I wrote it to really educate people about this new science, right, around the gut-brain axis, the heart-brain axis, but even more importantly to say, like, hey, it's not just exciting, interesting science. It really is ready for prime time, right? The science is well developed enough where we can wrap our arms around it and actually use it in our everyday lives. And that's what's meaningful to people, is that they can get a benefit from this science.
I love it. We got about 3 minutes left. What else would you like to share? What else do we need to know? And how can people connect with you?
Yeah, well, probably the best place to find me is just my blog, right? Just my name, ShawnTalbott.com. They'll go to my blog. I write a lot of articles there. I share videos. I've got a YouTube channel that it's kind of a gamish of different things. Sometimes I'm doing science talks. Sometimes I'm doing, product education. Sometimes I'm talking about particular herbs that we're studying. But those are probably the best places: ShawnTalbott.com or my YouTube page, which is Dr. Shawn Talbott. There's so much going on in the scientific world right now. There's literally every week there's dozens of new scientific papers coming out around the gut-brain axis. And again, the more we learn about this, the more we can understand it, the more we can apply it to our lives and actually get those benefits.
Yes. Thank you so much for who you are and all that you're doing. And I think this is just so exciting. It's just so exciting, the limitless potential of where things are going in this space when we talk about human performance. And guys, as we know, when we think about, I'm very passionate about our youth, people in general, but I'm very passionate about our youth, giving our youth an opportunity with all of the stress, with all of the challenges that they have to face automatically just because of growth and development, giving them the best opportunity to handle all of what life is going to offer. And if you can feel comfortable do your research, be the skeptic, see the ingredients for yourself. And what you're going to see is that you'll feel a lot more comfortable placing these ingredients into your body and your kid's body. One of the things I love what you said, I think I might have saw one of your interviews. I can't remember where you were, but you said you want to make sure you're always not only feeling the products that you create, can you give to your family? Can you give to your kids? So that is big. And that's what we want to ask, ourselves. How are we feeding our mind, our bodies, externally, internally? It all matters. So Dr. Shawn, I can't thank you enough for just who you are and all the work that you're doing and all the love you're putting into everything you touch.
Well, thanks, Tracy. I really appreciate being here today.
No, this has been great. Community, make sure that if you need to, go back to part 1, listen again, go back to part 2, listen again, pick up Dr. Shawn's book right here. You won't be able to put it down. When I first got the book, I think I read the first 7 chapters straight. And then I woke up the next morning and kept going. It was so it disrupted my sleep cycle, just so you know. That next morning I woke up and I couldn't wait to pick it back up. So such a good read, so easy to read and so filled with great information, life-changing information. So thank you for all that you're doing. And I'm so thankful and I'm proud to be a part of Amare Wellness. So Dr. Shawn, thank you for your time. Community, thank you for who you guys are. Make sure you go to tracyaustin.com. We got some codes that we can give you guys to make sure you get something off when you're ordering with us. So don't you miss that. Go out, shine bright like the stars that we are. Make sure you're being kind to yourself and kind to others. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Have a good one. Thank you for joining us today on Mental Fitness Matters. Tune in every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. for more tips, tools, strategies, and solutions that will help you reach your peak mental fitness. My name is Tracy Austin, and you've been listening to Mental Fitness Matters.